Peace fans, this is Chris Bolts, and I'm coming with an episode recap and review of this week's episode 1154, The Truth Behind the Secret Plan, Vegapunk Claims Victory. Now, before I do get into the content, please like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, all that good stuff really does help me out, and also make sure to leave a comment. I like reading your comments, both positive and negative, and I do try to respond back, especially if they're negative, and as long as you keep the conversation civil, because I really do like the debate. Now, this is the penultimate episode before we take that big, long hiatus. I just did a video where I will link to, at the end of this video, about the Elbaf arc starting on April 5th, 2026. So go check that video out right there. But this particular video, this particular episode, pretty much, there has been victory. The Straw Hats, the Giant Pirates have all claimed victory over the Navy, over the Gorosei, and they thanked the giant robot Emmett, especially Luffy right here. If we go back to the beginning of this episode right here, he calls out to the robot and tells him, hey, thank you very much for saving us. Your haki was very powerful. And right after he had got out of his fifth gear state, we see that Luffy just deflates and goes back to his old man self and shriveled up, because he uses up so much power to go ahead and do that Gear 5 state, and there he's deflating and he slams right into the Thousand Sunny. Got all of his friends around him. And then we go over here to the flying newsroom, and the editor is such a piece of shit. He basically portrays the modern day media here in America, where pretty much it's lies all the time and telling out stories and putting out misinformation to scare the people, to get the people into fear. But Vivi is not going to have any of that. She just cuts him off and gets into a really big fight. Now, she does that at her own peril, because she's staying at her and Walpole are staying on that ship at their behest. He doesn't have to leave them on the ship, actually. Okay, this is Big News Morgan. That's his name, Big News Morgans. He doesn't have to let any of them stay on the ship right here, and he tells the Royal Highness about, won't you regret treating me that way later? But of course, Vivi stands on her principles and says, no, I don't wish to survive while others are dying. And Walpole is trying to keep her calm and composed, because again, they are guests to Big News Morgans, and I wouldn't say that they're necessarily guests, but they're staying on his ship, so it's his rules or not, or that he'll report them to the world government. Of course, that'll be interesting if he does that, and how the world government would actually look upon him for doing that. Now, this right here is a very powerful scene between Kizaru and the head admiral Akainu. He's walking among all the destruction of the Navy and the Marines. Akainu is trying to get information about what's going on, and Borsalino / Kizaru is very upset and maddened because he had to kill his friend, and that's going to be interesting right here. He's gonna tell that to Akainu right here. Akainu accuses him of doing a sloppy job, and it does kind of fit Borsalino's character that he would do a sloppy job, but no, he says right here, let me ask you, Sakazuki, have you ever killed your close friend? And man, I tell you, this is probably one of the most powerful scenes in all of One Piece, because this just shows a man showing regret. He knows he's a Navy dog and he has to do his job, but he has been friends with Vegapunk for a very long time, helped him build Egghead Island, but then he had to take that fateful shot against his friend, and he is remorseful about it. And then he retorts back to Akainu, did you ask me if I did a sloppy job? If you have time to sit there and doubt me, come and see it with your own eyes, you damn brat. I'm assuming, when he said damn brat, I'm assuming that Borsalino / Kizaru is much older than Akainu for him to call him a brat. So he did his job. You can't accuse him of not doing his job, because Egghead Island is in shambles. But this Buster call was a failure, oh, would you call it a failure? Really, I wouldn't really call it a failure. Let me take that back. I wouldn't call it a failure. But unlike previous Buster calls, the Navy did not escape any type of harm. Their ships are just destroyed. Their soldiers, some of their soldiers are sinking to the bottom of the sea. They got knocked out by a very powerful hockey, so color of the Supreme King hockey. I think one of the giants said that it was more powerful than red-haired Shanks. More powerful than red-haired Shanks' hockey, which tells you about the strength of red-haired Shanks hockey. And there was an episode when they got on the ship of when he met on the ship with rather, let me rephrase that, when he met Whitebeard on his ship, and some of the pirates were looking at him with sneering eyes, and he just basically was just walking about, and some of the pirates just fell down, and that's Shanks's power with the hockey. And we just saw Joy Boy's power from the hockey, and then Joy Boy's power was from the 900 years in the past, and when it was activated by Emmett, it still reverberated around the world and impacted so many people. It definitely impacted the Navy, and it led to helping the Straw Hats escape. Now we see right here, Sanji is talking to a dead Vegapunk, and he's asking Vegapunk what he meant by what he said when they were going down that cloud car to go save Bonnie. And that is because it makes more sense. Last episode, or last reaction or review video I made for episode 1153, I said I didn't want to see the reveal of how Vegapunk actually was able to outsmart everyone and put this together. But after seeing the episode, I'm actually glad they did, because man, this was one where it showed the really good writing of Eiichiro Oda. This entire event right here is taking place 2 weeks before the Straw Hats arrived at Egghead Island. Vegapunk and Stella Vegapunk, Shaka, and Pythagoras have all found out who the traitor was among them, and they found out that it was York, and York had taken a piece of the Master Flame, or rather Mother Flame, given it to the world government. The world government in turn used that piece of Mother Flame to destroy Leloucha. There's just one big giant hole that's just sitting right there. And so they hatched a plan to not only go ahead and record themselves telling everything what they know about the Void Sentry from their research and put it out there. They also needed to go in there and wipe their minds so that York could not figure out that they already figured out that she is the traitor. As you can see right here, whatever her purpose is, people who learned about the Void Sentry will be erased. This is Stella Vegapunk basically understood that he's going to die. They don't want because the world government does not want any of the information about the Void Sentry being put out there. And he tells this to Shaka and Pythagoras, and both of us, actually all three, agree that they're going to be not surviving this, that there's going to be instructions sent out that they'll be chased to the end of the world. He doesn't want their death to be in vain, so they're going to stay on the island. They're going to cast their voice out, because that was not an option that Ohata had back when it had received a buster call for investigating the Void Sentry. And everybody, all three men understand that this is going to be it, and they wanted to die for something and not for nothing. So that's pretty much this entire episode right here. And they put that one snail inside of Emmett. They went and erased their memories, and when they came back, Stella Vegapunk made sure to leave a note to himself to let him know exactly what is going on, and they now know what must be done. And I like all this right here, because there's going to be a lot of comedic stuff right here when you see Vegapunk popping up here after a whole bunch of bad news is just coming. It just keeps coming. And he's just all surprised that everything is happening. I really love this part right here. I love this little comedic point within all of this bad news that's just happening. And this is the part where Vegapunk has that conversation with Sanji, just tell him, hey, do not try to save me. have a feeling that my death will lead to something, and it needs to happen. And he's imploring to both Sanji and Frankie, do not try to save me. Please just let me die. It's what needs to be done. And because of that, all the giant pirates are able to escape. The Straw Hats were able to escape to go ahead and live another day. And they're on their way to Elbaf. So that's the episode for episode 1154. I'm going over to the preview right now. The preview, see right here. Let's skip the credits right there. And on the next episode, it's just one big giant party among all the Straw Hats and the giant pirate crew. They're gonna eat their fill. We know Sanji's gonna drink a whole bunch, and Luffy's gonna eat a whole lot. And there's gonna be some very bad things that's gonna be happening within the world government with the Gorosei. The Promised Horizon, off to the long-awaited Elbaf. And once again, go over there and check my video out. That gives a sneak preview about what Elbaf is gonna be all about, as well as what it's gonna look like. So make sure you check that video out right there. This episode overall was just one where we got the closure we needed. We got the fleshing out of the events that led up to Egghead Island, at least with regards to the broadcast that had been sent out to everyone. And it was a really good episode. A lot of lore in this one, more lore than world building, and definitely no action going on. It's a breather episode, but it was still really good. I really appreciated the episode overall. I give this episode an 8 out of 10. Definitely really good. Getting the setup for episode 1155. And then we got our big giant hiatus until the Elbaf arc debuts on April 5th, 2026. Those are my thoughts on the issue. What do you guys think about this episode? Jump down in the comments and let me know what you think. And make sure you like, share, subscribe. Turn on those post notifications. All that stuff really does help me out. And remember, this is Chris Boats signing off, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy.